Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
Literally a guest star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that Putin's the lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Takes the lead on the final lap.
Hello. I believe something has gone a little bit wrong. I'm sorry that currently there's a black screen for what you guys are seeing. Let me sort this little problem that I'm having. Not sure why this problem is actually going on. Don't know why it's happening this week specifically, because it was fine last week. So just give me a minute to fix this. I can find what I need to find. Yeah, just give me a minute to sort this, because we've been it should be somewhere. I should have this. I do apologise for this problem that we're having so early on in this stream. I don't know why we are having this problem today, because everything was fine before we got, and it's fine now. It seems like everything's working now. Okay, well, hello and welcome to PSGL FPC F5, and I'm joined alongside by the good old Max Ring. How are you doing, my good friend?
I'm very good, Epic. Happy to be here once more here in F5. And how are you doing on this Thursday evening, Epic?
I'm good. A little bit scared that the stream had completely killed itself. But we're okay. So, we've got a couple of things to go through before we get into qualifying here tonight. We come to the track of Spa-Francorchamps in the Belgian hills. Here is the track layout, start to finish, 7.004 kilometers, 19 turns. Only 2 DRS zones on this track. We love to see it. Of course, we've seen, for instance, Lando Norris crash at Pouron through Radion, and it's absolutely, some moments have happened around that track. And here's actually our calendar for season 36. It was Australia, and it was driver voted that it'd be Belgium for today, then Monaco, then we'll be having another driver vote, followed by Canada, driver vote, Azerbaijan, Netherlands, then driver vote, and then we go to Texas for the last race of the season. Now, here is actually the driver's standings at the end of last race, since, as you see, Wilson Hall took the victory in Australia, only coming through right at the end of the race. He currently leads the championship by 4 points. This was how the results actually were. So as you can see, qualifying saw Wilson Hall get pole position by just 0.08 of a second, and he also won the race right at the end. We thought it was all gone. A couple of changes, of course, as you can see, the unofficial race positions as well changed slightly to then the end results. But ultimately, these were the results. Wilson Hall, Ben Marples, and Riley McKay, Kuba Wozniak, Fabio, Matthew Rear, Victor Vidler, Nicola Soro, Matteo Piccolo, and Jel Korsman, all inside of the top 10 and all scoring points. What do you think of that, Max Rin?
I mean, last time out it was a very good race, but I mean, overall it was all about that late resurgence from Wilson Hall after that late pit stop. So, I mean, we've still got, of course, a long season ahead of us. That was only the first round. I mean, it's going to be good for these drivers, the likes of Wilson Hall, Riley McKay and Ben Marples, to be on that podium so early on. It's a really good confidence boost heading into the remaining races of this season. But we've still got a long way to go. That was only round 1 of 11. We've still got another 10 to go. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Of course, we're at one of the most historic circuits in Formula 1 now. We're at Belgium. So expect a lot of drama around here. Of course, it's all going to be about what the drivers prefer. Do you go for a more high downforce setup for that middle sector, or a lower downforce setup for the first and the final sector? It's all dependent on how the driver feels comfortable. And also, high threat of rain around Belgium. Of course, in the Ardennes Forest, rain is so like vulnerable around here. It's so easy to have a session with some rain involved. Luckily, at the moment in qualifying, what we've just come to, we don't have any, but we should be in for an exciting race. And overall, it's going to be all down to that strategy, because a long circuit like this, that undercut or overcut, could be really powerful come the end of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, I agree with you. I really do agree with you there. Sorry, the game's paused for a minute. I'm just making sure everything is working, because I know there's been a couple of problems tonight, but everything seems to be working now. And yes, it is. Everything is nicely working. Just double checking, so nothing goes wrong. First drive out, Benjamin Hooter. Haven't seen him. We didn't see him last race. Of course, it has only been one race. But tonight it's going to be a big night for a couple of drivers. Cooper Wozniak is one of them. Another driver who did so well in qualifying last race. Qualifying, but then in the race, kind of fell flat, and that came on lap 1 in turn 3, and that was Jelk Korsman. Spinning round, getting over opportunistic, braking too late, and ultimately losing the car into turn 3. Would you say that was a thing that kind of ruined his race?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, after having such a good qualifying there for Yelty, I mean, he recovered well to get a point in the end of the Grand Prix, but it just never really materialised due to that spin that he had. He just got caught out under braking, I think, and he just went locked the rears and spun round. But as I say, this is the first race. That was the first race of the season. There's still such a long way to go that for Jelk Korsman, he can just put that behind him now. That's all you need to do around a championship like this. It's only the first round. It won't sum up your whole season. He had a tricky season last season, don't get me wrong, for Jelk, but he never really had a qualifying performance quite like that at any point during last season. So for Jelk, he started off strong. He could do the same here today. I mean, he's going to be the first one round, but I think he might be in AI mode, because it is burning a lot of battery as he heads up into Vlog Chimon and now into the bus stop chicane, and he won't have enough to go again. So I think here, Jelk coming into the pit lane here.
The next one will be Patrick
Dakmeyer. Yeah.
So let's ride on board with the Haas man. Patrick Dakmeyer is going to be the first man to cross the line. He's going for the wide line, taking it tight then to get all the exit he can onto the straight. He did get the best exit possible now, coming down towards turn 1, the tight turn 1. We love it. It's hairpin-like. He slides it through turn 1, which is the way to do it, but gets quite a bit of slipping on the rear. Now heading down the straight towards some of those famous corners in the world, El Rouge and Radion. And up Radion, there he goes, very nice there. Coming on to the second time he's going to be having DRS. It's sadly the last time he's going to be having DRS on this lap. Towards the end of sector 1, what is he going to put in? He's going to put in at 30.1. It's an alright first sector from Patrick Dakmeyer. Definitely to find some more time, but remember, the track is only getting started, and there is, of course, going to be track evolution. But he's definitely looking aggressive on his lap. He's pushing it all the way up to the limit, coming through the corner with no name. So far, very good. Now he's heading down towards the fastest corner on the track. Kuon, little left-hander, he's going to throw it in, taking a little bit of the inside curve, pushing it all the way out to the outside curve and through the corner very nicely. Now heading down into his right-left at 300 kilometers an hour, turning it in, taking the inside curve. Not much on the second one, you don't want to, that could cause you to spin. Now coming through the double right-hander now, very nice, pushing it up to the track limits. Purple middle sector, he's definitely looking good. That middle sector pretty decent so far. Now heading down the straight, we're going to see this Haas open completely, its full speed being shown. No DRS, but it's still going to show 320 kilometers an hour through the left-hander. Now coming down to the bus stop chicane, the final 2 corners he's going to face, the final difficult ones he's going to face on this track. Takes the inside curve, he's trying to keep it as straight line as possible to reduce the amount of time he has to spend. And up to the line, it's going to be a 1 minute 40.9, and it's a decent first lap from Patrick Dakmeyer.
Yeah, not too bad there from Patrick Datmeyer. Would have actually beaten Ben Marples, who invalidated his last run. Marcel Biega with a 1 minute 40.630. Wilson Hall just shoots himself up into second place. I was about to say he then beats that only 200ths between Marcel Biega and Riley McKay. We have Mercedes to the line. That's going to be Nicolo Soro up into 4th place. His teammate of Hugo Fontbon goes up into 3rd place. They're displacing Wilson Hall by 1,000th of a second. This qualifying seems to be very, very close. We now have the 2 AlphaTauris coming up to the line. First off will be Paulo Alfonso. So what about Paulo? What can he do? No, he actually invalidates his run. His teammate Snakes is to the line. He goes up into 3rd place. A decent lap time there from Snakes to put himself up into 3rd place. But 2 cars at the moment in the 1 minute 40.6s. Everyone else still very, very close together. Just over 0.2 of a second separate that top 9, really, with Lucas Biesner now up into 11th place. But we still have more cars coming up to the line, but most of them are really just now either they've invalidated their runs or heading through that middle sector. And it seems that I think that is the end of your first runs of qualifying. But Jelty Korsman is coming out to start his first official run in this qualifying session.
Well, I've actually seen Cooper Wozniak on a lap. He's come out later in this session. He's come out for a little bit of a run. I believe he hasn't been pushing too much on his lap. He's actually been going slow. He's actually going to come into the pits. Quite interesting to see there from him. Gabriel Stella is actually going to be finishing his lap here. So far, what is he on for? He's on for a 1 minute 41. It is going to be, but it's sadly going to be slowest of them all. And not what the Haasman will be looking for tonight. Paulo Alfonso, also, he's just invalidated another run as well. The only driver on the lap, actually, fully on the lap, is Gabriel Patesi, who's just invalidated his lap as well. So quite a few people struggling to get round without invalidating. But I believe that is the end of the first runs. But, like you said, Jelty Korsman out on track now. And on his outlap, he's got to pull something together. He had a strong qualifying last race. If it all crumbles here, that is gonna definitely hurt his confidence.
Yeah, it certainly is. But I feel like Jelty, of course, last season was with his brother Tias Korsman, who eventually won that championship. But for Jelty, it's all about now just overall getting that lap on the board at this stage in qualifying. But if he does have another poor Grand Prix, it will start to play in his mind slightly. But with Jelty, he's an experienced driver. I'm sure he'll be just fine here at Spa. DRS Open now as he heads down that main straight, as he heads into the first corner of La Source, as you now get down to 4th gear, get into the apex. It narrows up quite a bit on that exit there. Of course, in real life, this space now between as we head down into Rouge and Radion is a lot wider, but not updated for this game. As you now head up the hill into Radion, and then you want to get the best run possible. Keep it as much of a straight line as you possibly can down the com. He's going to have a bit of traffic in his way, and sorry, not the com. This is the Kemmel Straight leading into Le Com. A 29.888 in that first sector. The game says it's purple, so it could be a very strong start to this lap here from the McLaren driver as he now heads down into the Bruxelles hairpin, and it will lead him straight into the flick left of Malmedy. You just want to be all over, sorry, not Malmedy, of No Name, and then you head down the hill into Pouon. This, of course, is all about commitment. Jelty Korsman showing that, but just a little too much. He actually invalidates on the exit of Pouon there, mid-corner, and Jelty Korsman, unfortunately, this lap will not count, but it did seem very strong, so he can't be too disheartened of it. He'll probably carry on, to be honest, and overall get a delta, so his next lap isn't too much of a stab in the dark. So he's still heading up into Blanchimont now. He's still the only driver on a lap, so we might as well carry on following just in case he does decide to cross the line. But for Jelty Korsman, he's showing that he's got pace in that car. He just needs to keep that lap clean, and if he's able to do so, then he surely can be at the front of the field. So DRS Open, what would it have been? It would have been good enough for provisional pole, so super disappointing there for Jelty Korsman. But he now knows he has the pace in the lap.
And yes, another man who had an interesting race, to say the least, that is Victor Vidler. This man definitely had an interesting race last week. Couple of penalties here and there for him. I believe it was 9 seconds worth of penalties. Victor Vidler really needs to have a good race here today. Definitely needs to come back from last race. Those penalties really hurt him. He's definitely got to try and keep it clean this week. But he showed last week that he had a lot of pace in him. Of course, he's a known driver of PSGL F5. When I was fully commentating this tier, when I was a full-time commentator, I was commentating this tier and he was here before even I was. And so, he's been here a while, and I think quite a lot of people like him in the tier. He's quite a good driver, I would say. Definitely a good driver, especially to get into this tier, let alone any lower. It is definitely something here for Victor Vidler. He's had a good first race. But he definitely needs to come out out of Belgium with something a bit more. Because even though he had the pace, he had the racecraft, he had everything he needed, it was almost his mistakes with track limits that lost him those chances for a podium. And so, I think this race, he needs to put in a good qualifying and also have a really, really good race to bounce back from last week.
Yeah, I mean, it was just really his lack of discipline on the track limits. He just didn't really pay too much attention to him, it seems. He's coming up to the line now. Where will this lap put him? He actually goes up into second place just in front of his teammate Riley McKay there. So not too bad there from Victor Vidler. Only 2 thousandths of a second behind Marcel Biega. But yeah, for Victor Vidler, it was a missed opportunity, I think, for that podium at the very least, as Cooper Wozniak now goes up to the top with a 1:40.546. Marcel Biega's coming up to the line now in his Alfa Romeo. He's up by a 10th. This will be enough to seal him back onto provisional pole, and yes, he does. He finds just under a 10th and a half into the 40.4s, and for Marcel Biega, that is a very, very impressive lap there from him. But for Victor Vidler, as you were saying, it is such a super important qualifying and overall race to sort of dial back those track limits as Ben Marples goes up to the top and just overall build that discipline up a bit more. That was his only downfall out in Australia, is that he just wasn't disciplined enough on these track limits. So if you give him a good qualifying and he's able to keep it within the track limits, he certainly is a contender for pole position and even a podium. So we'll just have to wait and see as Alex Santana now goes up into second place. Super close throughout this field, may I add as well. Only 0.3 of a second separating that top 7, and only 5 separating the top 13. So super, super close. Finding a 10th or 2 here, Epic, can easily bump you up 2 or 3 spots in this session as Wilson Hall goes up into 4th place.
Yeah, definitely. That good thing is with this track is that you can overtake. And that's going to be something big for the drivers, that compared to Australia, they all got stuck in de-ice trains and things like that, which really hurt them in performance, you know, especially when it came down to overtaking. But now they're going to have a little bit more free reign, and they're going to be able to maybe make a bit more of what they couldn't last race. And that's really going to be something important when we're looking for today, especially for drivers who aren't starting as well as they would want to. One of those drivers could actually be the Red Bull of Justin Ertz, currently down in P17. I know he's fast. I've personally raced against him on console. But that's definitely going to be something he's got to be looking at towards, you know, this is where strategy and racecraft is going to take hold. You know, we all remember Alex Albon's debut for Red Bull back in 2019. He qualified badly, but he came up through the race. I believe he finished P7 or P6. He finished very high. But this is generally going to be something for him to find some time, to find something in there. For quite a few of these drivers, I mean, for Chelsea Korsman and Danny Coe as well, they've got to find some time. Another driver who will be wanting to find some more time is Mattia Rear. We saw him. He did pretty well last race in qualifying. Another one is definitely going to be the man of Wilson Hall. Even though he's just a 10th off, he's feeling like another pole position, I think. He's definitely feeling like that. So yeah, definitely there's a lot up for grabs here.
Yeah, there certainly is, but all it is really about now is finding that time in the lap, and if you can find that time in that, so a lot of these drivers might somewhat get a little bit stagnated and overall just set their quick lap at the start of the session or in their second run and then not be able to find anything in that final run. Victor Riddler already out on the circuit. Everyone's going to start flurrying out on the circuit within the next, I would say, 30 seconds or so, because it's such a long track and you need so much time to prepare your tyres to be in the best window possible that you really need to get out somewhat earlier than you would around any other circuit. They've come out around the 3-minute mark, so they've got plenty of time to heat up their tyres, heat up their brakes, make sure their car's in an optimum window to attack this next lap. And it shouldn't be too long. One driver I'm actually concerned about here is Gabriele Stella. I don't think he's going to get back out in time. He's currently on his way back into the pit lane.
It takes, by the way, it takes about 2 minutes and 10 seconds to get round on an outlap. Or about
yeah,
2
so
minutes.
he's not going to do it.
No, he's not.
Going to do it.
And that is the end of his qualifying. And to be honest, his teammate isn't much more in a better place. Only 14 thousandths ahead of him. And so the Haas is not in a very happy place at the moment. But the man who might be finding himself in a little bit of a happy place is Victor Vidler. Because it seems like he's very happy with where his tyres are because he's not really warming them anymore.
He is slightly. He's not really weaving about, but he's using that brake to generate some heat through the brakes. Of course, that was really added onto this game on a way to heat up your tyre, which is accurate. You can do that in real life, not too much though, but of course in this game you can pretty much do what you want without any repercussions when it comes to the brakes. So I think he'll be the first one round. It'll be either him or Patrick Datmeyer. We'll just have to wait and see if the Haas does catch up and maybe overtake him. It doesn't seem so. So Victor Riddler will be the first driver to get us underway for these final runs of qualifying. Gabriele Stella does end up retiring in the pit lanes, of course, cannot come out again. So let's get a lap underway here with Victor Riddler looking for pole position. He is 3/10 off at the moment. Can he find the time that he needs? Heading into the source, late on the brakes, down to 4th gear, and then flicking that one in quite nicely. Narrows up on the exit, make sure you don't drop the rear either. It's a little bit off camber, but he manages to get that one quite nicely. You then power down the hill, and then you go straight back up it through Rouge, and then up into Radion. And then very nicely done there from Victor Riddler. As you now, DRS open, down Le Kemmel straight, which will then lead you into the corner. He's got a clear track in front of him. He don't have to worry about any traffic, does the Ferrari. First sector, he's up by 0.08 of a second for Victor Riddler. This could be a very, very quick lap as you now head through Malmedy, down the hill into the Bruxelles hairpin. You're constantly now just going down the hill at this stage of the lap as you now head into No Name, flick it through there, get back on the power nice and early, which he does. Now into Pouon, the corner where you need to be the most committed at. And is Victor Riddler at that? Yes, he is. He's very, very committed through there. Make sure he keeps it within track limits. And you now head into the Pif chicane, the right-left here as you then head down into the first of the 2 Stabilos and across that middle sector split. So let's see how much he's up or down by in that middle sector. Nearly 0.3 of a second at the moment for Victor Riddler. I think this will just be good enough for provisional pole position and snatch it away from Ben Marples. Victor Riddler now heading up through Blanchimont. You really just focusing on the bus stop chicane. There's so much time to think about it, but it's so easy to mess up as you now head into the first part, into the second part of the bus stop. Nicely done there from Victor Riddler. Nicely on the power. Can he snatch pole away? Yes, he can. He's on to provisional pole. Ben Marples is on a lap. Wilson Hall didn't actually make it to the line in time in qualifying here. Neither did Danico. That was who was coming up to the line there. Patrick Datmeyer up into 7th place. What can Riley McKay do? He's nearly up by 3/10. What can he do? He goes now up to the top of the timesheets. Nearly 4/10 found on his lap. Cooper Wozniak up into 2nd place. Ben Marples is still on his lap. There's a Mercedes to the line. That's Hugo Fonbonnet. And where's Marcel Biega? He's behind Ben Marples. Snakes up into 3rd place, only 1,000th off getting onto that front row. Yeltsin Korsman up to 5th place. very close between that top 5 so far. Ben Marples, he's now heading through the bus stop chicane. Can he spoil Riley McKay's party and snatch back provisional pole? Yes, he can. Marcel Biega up to the line. Now the Alfa Romeo only good enough for 7th place. Then Mateo Ria crosses the line. But Ben Marples lost that provisional pole on the final run, but snatched it right back out of Riley McKay's hands. And a brilliant lap time on the break. Put him onto provisional pole, and after a podium last time out, could a race win be on here, Epic?
Maybe. But I do have to say, Wilson Hall not getting out of the pits in time and being a bit too slow on his outlap has ultimately cost him, and he's down to P9 as well. So here is the qualifying order. It might say Benjamin Hooter, but no, it is Mr. Ben Marples. I know the game is a little bit stupid. Riley McKay is in 2nd, Kuba Wozniak 3rd, Snakes 4th, Victor Vidler 5th, Jelt Korsman in 6th, Marcel Biega 7th, Alex Santana in 8th, Wilson Hall 9th, Nicola Sora 10th, Patrick Dachmeyer 11th, Fabio 12th, Paulo Afonso 13th, Garo Patesi in 14th, Lucas Abaisner in 15th, Hugo in 16th, Justin Ertz in 17th, and the bottom 3 or 4 we sadly missed. But what a session that was from everybody. But sadly, it's time to go to a little ad before we get to the race. And we return nicely here. Sorry, there's a little pause screen. Did not mean for that. But we're going to be getting going very shortly here in PSGL PC F5. I'm joined alongside Max Ring, if you forgot, sadly. But there was a little ad of GT Omega, one of our proud sponsors, which we love to have. Ben Marples on pole position. Don't mind if on my screen, for everybody here in the stream, it says Benjamin Hooter. I don't know why it says that. But what do you think is the chance that he could win and get that redemption from last race?
I mean, it could be high. We just have to really wait and see how it all plays out. But around a circuit like Belgium, you don't really want to be leading until that final lap when you head into Le Com for that final time. That's when you really want to be leading this Grand Prix at the latest, making a move up into the bus stop chicane, but that doesn't always work out. So it's just going to be a race about management, really, managing the tyres, battery. That's going to be key. Sticking within the DRS is going to be an extremely crucial thing around a circuit like Belgium, where straight line speed and heading down into Le Com, you can gain so much time on someone if they don't have DRS. So it's just going to be all about how he manages this one, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. The source can be a crazy opening corner, especially with how narrow it gets on the exit. So it's all about surviving that first lap, building a rhythm through the next few, get into that pit stop window, and then just attacking all the way to the end of the Grand Prix. Sounds simple, but when you're in a race like this where everybody is so evenly matched, it is a very, very tricky task.
Yeah, I agree with you completely with that. One driver that definitely needs to do something here is Wilson Hall. He definitely needs to be making some moves. Is he going to go for the strategy he did last week, going to the soft tyres? I believe he did. I think he did. No, he didn't, sorry. He went to the hards and then he went to the softs. Could he be trying to go for that strategy again? Maybe, maybe not. Who generally knows? Both Aston Martins though, first and third. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fire lights. And away we go here in PSGL PC F5 for Belgium round 2. And it's a good start from Ben Marples into turn 1. He's taking the corner very nicely. His teammate might be attacking Riley McKay. So heading down the straight now. Can he hold on? Yes, he's got a very good lead. There's some moves happening further in the back. It's too wide further and back at points. We're going to be watching Ben Marples going up the hill. Is he going to be having an attack from Riley McKay? It's not so much Riley McKay attacking Ben Marples. It's more Ben Marples' teammate Cooper Wozniak attacking the Ferrari now. Look at this. Here comes Riley McKay side by side into the right-hander. It's so far very close and very, very tight. We can see Wilson Hall's made up a couple of places. He's up into 6th place now. So it's all very close. You can see Cooper Wozniak trying to make a move down the inside of Riley McKay. Riley McKay's made a little bit of a mistake. Side by side now going into corner with no name. Being pushed off, being pushed wide. But he didn't deserve the racing space. But we can see Wilson Hall, he is definitely on those soft tyres as he's making another move as he moves up past Victor Vidler into 5th place now. Those softs really showing that they can work at the moment for Wilson Hall and getting the start he needed. Look at how much he is closing in on Snakes here. Look at this. He's all over the back of the AlphaTauri. Alpine versus AlphaTauri. We've said that a few times in real life in F1. And we're going to be saying it quite a few times here. Chelsea Korsman also making a move past Alex Santana. And there goes Wilson Hall. He's going to be making the move past Snakes for P4. It's a very nice and swift move. He hasn't used much ERS either. Still on 70%. So it's a good start. And there's also going to be a move in front. Cooper Wozniak dive bombs to the inside to get Riley McKay. And there he goes up into the top 2. And now it is Ben Marples leading with Cooper Wozniak. It's an Aston Martin 1-2, just like last race. But Wilson Hall is chasing down. And this time the roles have reversed.
Yeah, it certainly is. And that's a sort of a dream start for both the Aston Martins. Ben Marples would have wanted his teammate to get past Riley McKay, but he actually might be overtaken by said teammate. Cooper Wozniak going to the outside, just using that slipstream, had the better pace, but it's still going to be side by side. And look further back, here comes Wilson Hall on those soft tyres. He's got past Riley McKay now, and now Ben Marples will probably just let Wilson Hall through, because at this stage in the Grand Prix, there's no point losing time fighting someone that's on a completely different strategy from you. So Ben Marples actually goes a little bit wide there through the Bruxelles hairpin as he now heads down through No Name, the Alpine, all over the back of the Aston Martin. He's really used those soft tyres to good use. He's gone from 9th to 3rd in the space of 2 laps. Ben Marples wide once again. He's really struggling with that front end rotation, so maybe just having a little bit of understeer in that Aston Martin. Maybe not got enough front wing on, or just car's a little bit too heavy for his liking at the moment. But we'll just have to wait and see. But Wilson Hall all over the back of the Aston Martins. We now head up through Blanchimont. This is where he's probably going to try and make his move. And yes, he is. Here he comes to the inside, and the Alpine getting the job done before we even reach the next part of Blanchimont, the main part of Blanchimont. But Ben Marples might try fight this one back, but no, he's just going to sit behind, let Wilson Hall just attack Cooper Wozniak. There's no point fighting it as Nicolo Soro gets past Yelty Korsman in the background, and he's now under attack from Marcel Biega as well as the McLaren as he now heads down into the source. Marcel Biega looking to the inside still. It's going to be a late lunge on the brakes from the Alfa Romeo. They're still side by side as they exit the corner. Yelty Korsman, though, gets the better drive out the corner, and he's now up. And stays in 9th place. Gabriel Prazzi is behind Marcel Biega as well. So DRS open for all of them. This is the first lap with DRS. Wilson Hall able to get past Cooper Wozniak before we even get to Lecom. And it seems that everyone else is just sitting in the train at the moment. But for Wilson Hall, he's really put those tyres good to use. 8 places in the space of 3 laps.
Yeah, definitely. But remember, this track is long and tyre degradation is actually quite high, even for the track distance and the type of corners we have. So definitely this is going to be something playing on Wilson Hall's mind. He's done what the Aston Martins did last week of going for the softer compound first, although whether that was by mistake or not. But we saw last week that did not pay off for the Aston Martins. They ended up losing out more to Wilson Hall. So Wilson Hall definitely playing a bit of a risky game here, that maybe his softs will start to drop off in the next few laps. The softs have a life of between 6 to 9 laps, and so he hasn't got very long on those tyres. But compared to the hards have about between 14 to 16 laps of life. So definitely we could be looking at the Aston Martins going to the soft tyres towards the end.
Yeah, we could. I would assume, though, they would do a hard medium. It's just the optimum strategy, really. around Belgium, but we can only just wait and see and see what the drivers do and what they prefer. But hard medium really is just a preferred strategy around here. It's just all round a decent strategy on the tyres. You don't have to worry about tyre management. You don't have to worry about tyre drop off, and it's mainly just push these hards all the way you can. At that opening stint, as here comes Kuba Wozniak re-overtaking Wilson Hall down Le Camel straight. Ben Marble's just not going to be close enough to make a move. He did look for it though, but just wasn't close enough, and that's a big slide for Snakes. He just about manages to collect the car through the middle of the com, but that's put him under a lot of pressure here from Victor Ridlow, who's going to look to the inside line, but just can't do so and get the move done. But yeah, the strategy is going to be a big part of this one. I feel like for Wilson Hall, he's got to try maybe take those softs to the medium compounder tyres, see how long he can take them. But of course, a long circuit, only 22 laps in the end. Due to how long this circuit is. Yellow flag, and that's for Patrick Datmeyer, who has spun round at the exit of Malmedy. But this circuit's so long, tyre wear quite high. But for Wilson Hall, if I was in his position, I would just try to extend those soft tyres as much as I possibly can and just try and get all the way to a medium tyre stint. If not, worst case scenario, just drop onto a set of the hard compound tyres and try to get the biggest undercut you can.
I agree. As we can see, there's a move between Danny Coe and Polo Alfonso. Danny Coe pulling his way past. Last race was not a good race for Danny Coe, but today he's having a bit of a better one. Definitely, I have to say, one driver who's really lost out of the first 4 laps is Jelty Korsman. Currently, he started, I believe, P5. P9 now. We can actually have a look at position change. He's down 3 places, so he started P6. And so not a good start for him, nor is it a good start for Marcel Biega, who's also down 3 places. Or also Patrick Datmeyer down 9. So it hasn't been a good day for some of these guys so far. Let's have a look at the tyre compounds. Most drivers going for the hards. We've got 4 drivers on the mediums. We've got 2 on the softs. Kuba Wozniak, he's going to drop 2 places because he's going to see Wilson Hall get past, but also his teammate Ben Marples get past. It's Ben Marples pulling off the absolute masterstroke of a move, getting up into P1 now. Definitely something there for a few of these guys, but I do feel like maybe Wilson's tyres are already starting to drop off now because he's struggling to keep up a bit.
Yeah, he's really started to struggle here as Wilson Hall, but it could just be a management phase and just overall be just nursing that tyre through the rest of the stint until he gets to a decent area where he can start pushing once more onto that tyre. So we're just going to have to wait and see how he plays this one. I personally believe that he's still got life in that tyre and he's not used it all up too early. But again, it's all up to how he now figures his way through this race and finds out how the tyre does feel. He's not doing too bad. I mean, he's really started to find a bit of time in this middle part of the lap. They sort of stagnated slightly though. I think the pendulum is starting to swing into Ben Marple's favour on the overall pace, but again, we'll just have to wait and see overall if Wilson Hall is managing or if he's overall starting to feel that drop off slightly. In my opinion, I feel like he's managing this one. You don't want to use that soft tyre up too much and then just have to come in too early for the hards. So on those mediums later on, if he's able to get those tyres there, he'll be in a really good position. But he's now got Kuba Wozniak all over the back of him, and look at the run the Aston Martin gets with that double slipstream. DRS open as they now head down Le Camel straight. Kuba Wozniak is going to try and get past both Mika Hakkinen-esque on Wilson Hall, and he's managed to get it done, and Wilson Hall drops behind Kuba Wozniak, and that was really a brilliant move from Kuba Wozniak. Had his teammate in the middle. He tried blocking as that's Jelty Korsman round. Jelty Korsman round at Malmedy. And that's the second race in the row where that McLaren has been facing the wrong way as his teammate Gabriele Prazzi trying to get past Marcel Biega, wasn't able to do so. But for Jelty Korsman, it's heartbreak once again. That man just cannot get any good luck over the past 2 seasons here in F5. Victor Red Bull all over the back of Snake's not going to get a move done. But Jelty Korsman, another spin. That's 2 spins in 2 races.
This time, at least he made it past lap 1 or even turn 2. That was the improvement from last week. But yeah, definitely a disappointing one for Jelty Corsman. He isn't last, but of course he'll be feeling like he's close enough to there. I wouldn't be completely shocked if we did see him potentially retire from the race. I wouldn't be completely shocked. But definitely one little battle on track we've got to talk about is this little battle further back for P10, which has just opened up quite a lot. Patrick Dackmeyer goes down, gets a 3-second time penalty. Struggling to say that somehow. But it's this battle over P10 that was there a minute ago, but they were all about 2-3 tenths between each other on average. But definitely Gabriel Protassi definitely struggling a bit on his current tyres. We can see him move for the lead. Wilson Hall trying to retake the lead, but he can't do it. The Aston Martins just keep on getting this man each time.
Yeah, they really worked well together, did the Aston Martins last time out as well in Australia, where Kuba Wozniak and Ben Marples were just boxing in Wilson Hall when he tried to make a move. So it took him a few attempts to break down that Aston Martin defence. But I feel like at this point, Wilson Hall isn't really caring too much. He has the DRS at least, so he knows he don't have to worry really about getting overtaken, not just by the two Aston Martins, but the cars behind them as well, the likes of Riley McKay, Snakes and Victor Riddler. So for Wilson Hall, he's just happy. I feel like where he is, he can manage, he can use that DRS to keep him with whatever Aston Martin ends up being in front of him come the time they head into the com. So overall, it's not too bad for him in this situation, but I reckon he'll be really nervous when we get to the Kemmel Straight and he just sees one Aston Martin blocking him and he's got so much overspeed that it's really tricky for him to actually overall just predict where he's going. Ben Marples actually goes deep into the bus stop chicane, so that might allow Wilson Hall to get a better run on the Aston Martin as they head down into La Source. So Wilson Hall all over the back of Ben Marples has a big slide once again into the source. That's going to hurt his rear tyres slightly for the British Racing Green car as we now head down the hill into Eluge and Radion. Look at Kuba Wozniak once again. Look at the run the Aston Martin gets, but this time it's not been as good. This could be Wilson Hall's time to now take the lead of the Grand Prix, but Kuba Wozniak is going to be looking to the inside, and look at that, Wilson Hall, he's not bothering to fight that one at all and just allows the Aston Martin of Kuba Wozniak to go through. So this could be all tactics here from the Aston Martin. Paolo Afonso made a mistake there and has dropped behind both Justin and Fabio. But for Wilson Hall, he's playing this one perfectly because you saw that there. He saw Kuba to his inside and he was like, here you go, mate, have the position and I'll just happily sit in the DRS and allow you to just to keep swapping places.
It would have been nice to see some action. It would have been nice to see some sort of collision. We all would have loved it. That's what we're here for. But racing, for the drivers, I think is a little bit more than crashing into each other or causing contact or damage. Which is a little bit sad, but that is fine. We want them to finish. So, Matthew Mears just made the move on Paulo Afonso up to 15th. The Williams. These Williams, some of these teams, they're kind of like neighbours. Every race, every time we see them, they just seem to be next to each other. You know, in the positions, 14th and 15th. You know, why? Why are so many of these teams like this? But no, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more moves this time because Victor Fiddler is eyeing up the back of that AlphaTauri and he's eyeing up Snakes in this race so far. And so is Alex Santana. He's also eyeing up Victor Fiddler at the same time. He wants both of them. But we're going to be looking to the front of the grid. Kuba Wozniak currently leading. He's under attack by Wilson Hall. But remember, this time, Ben Marples not as close to the Alpine as last time, but is Wilson Hall going to fight it? Is he? No, he isn't. He's not going to fight it too much. But maybe, I'm starting to feel like maybe there could be a little bit of frustration under all of that helmet and behind the screen and wheel. There could be a little bit of frustration that the Aston Martins are working so well together at the moment.
I mean, there certainly could be. Of course, they are working really well together here, Kuba Wozniak and Ben Marples. So for Wilson Hall, he might be like, it's very tricky to break down the defence here and getting a little bit agitated by it. But I feel like at this stage in the Grand Prix, he's not too bothered. If it was later on, say, give it lap 18, lap 19, that's when he will start to get a little bit frustrated, might go for a silly move. But Wilson Hall, he's a very experienced driver. He knows what he's doing, and overall, he can just perform at this level on whatever situation is thrown at him. So at the moment, he's just happy to probably sit there, conserve, don't have to worry too much about pushing to break out a DRS or getting that gap. And he's on a really good strategy at the moment. If he can take these tyres, I would say another 2 or 3 laps, box onto the mediums, take those to the end of the Grand Prix. So he doesn't really have to worry too much about the tyres. So a soft medium could certainly be on here for Wilson Hall. He's now all over the back of Ben Marples. Let's see if he can finally take the race lead, or will Cooper Wozniak get another superb run up Erouge and Radion. We can check now, heading down the hill and then into Erouge and Radion. It seems that Cooper Wozniak isn't as close this time around, so this could be Wilson Hall's time to finally snatch that race lead away from the 2 Aston Martins who have held it for so long. But here comes Cooper Wozniak. He's gaining, but no, on lap 10 of 22, Wilson Hall is finally able to take the race lead into Le Com and actually keep it into this middle sector. So the Alpine on those softs leading the way. And I've just realised, look how close this field is together. The top 15 all still within DRS of one another, and Gabriel Stella only 2.8 behind that. So if he either didn't make a mistake or didn't drop out, we could have easily had 16 cars all within a DRS train, all with 1 second of each other. Look at them just file through Pouon and then in to the right-left chicane. It is so fascinating to see all these drivers performing at such a close level with one another, as Paulo Afonso picks up a 3-second time penalty, and unfortunately for him, that won't really do much at the moment. He's down in 18th place and out of the points. But the AlphaTauri looking to maybe just try and get a better result as this race progresses. Cooper Wozniak, is he going to look for a move on Wilson Hall as they head into the bus stop? No, a little weave though. Maybe to the Alpine, showing a bit of frustration, or just to his teammates saying, oh yeah, he's going to come into the pit lane, which he does. Wilson Hall into the pits. He blinks and he pulls the trigger. Victor Riddler also follows him in off those hard compounded tyres. So now this is where we see who comes out where and what tyres. It is going to be the mediums for Wilson Hall. Same with Victor Riddler. So now the race begins here in Belgium. And we can see who can come out on top. Cooper Wozniak, Ben Marples, Riley McKay all staying out still. Victor Riddler going for that undercut. Wilson Hall, of course, wanted to get off those soft compounded tyres, as there goes Ben Marples in front of his teammate. So who is going to be the first of the 2 Aston Martins in? I feel like Ben Marples should have really followed Wilson Hall in on that one. I reckon that would have been better for the situation at Aston Martin.
Yeah, I do agree with you, but the risk of being pushed off slightly by Wilson Hall there, because remember, Wilson Hall, he's a very strong driver, his racecraft is very good, and we've seen his defending is also very good. And so the worry that he could come out, because remember, they're all in different areas of the pit box. For Alpine, they're closer, they're in the middle. Alpine are basically in the middle of the pit lane. And so they're actually behind. So the good thing, possibly for Wilson Hall there, if of course Ben Marples did pit, would be that he might be able to hold Ben Marples in the pits.
Yeah, he certainly could have. So yeah, that's something to look out for as well. But we'll just have to wait and see how this progresses. I feel like Cooper Wozniak might be in this time around, or would it be Ben Marples? No, they're actually both staying out. Same with Riley McKay and Alex Santana. The first one to actually blink out of that top 5 is going to be Snakes. He's now going to come off those mediums. Let's see where he comes out in relation to Victor Riddler, of course. Those two were in a big battle in this Grand Prix. Victor Riddler's actually quite close to Wilson Hall as well. But of course, that train was was actually very, very tight. So, Snakes, is he going to be heading out of the pit lane? I think he's just having that switch. No, he is not. He's only just gone now. What on earth happened to Snakes? That was a really long pit stop for the AlphaTauri and probably cost him any chance of a top 5 finish.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure what happened there, to be honest. I wasn't actually watching it, but we can see Victor Vidler has actually made the move on Wilson Hall. By the way, that's actually a really big move because Victor Vidler's also pulling away. He's doing what he did last race, where he has like 4 or 5 laps of a flash of massive amounts of pace, like he did last race, and it seems like it's showing through once again because he's already half a second ahead of Wilson Hall after just about 3-4 corners. This is a big change as well because at the moment that would put Victor Vidler up into provisionally P2, and so he's possibly on for a very good run. And they are catching the leaders at considerable amounts. Last lap they caught by about 1.8 seconds by how I'm looking at it. So they're definitely catching by huge amounts. And remember how close the grid was before any pit stops. Definitely that could be something you could see compared to before on the hards. 2 seconds quicker so far. Definitely going to be something that maybe the leaders should be watching out for.
Yeah, it certainly is. Victor Redler has an abundance of pace in this Grand Prix, and it really is, as you said, like once he comes into the pit lane, he really can just fly away on those media, on whatever tyre he's on, that fresher compound, and just show what he's worth, really. Riley McKay into the pit lane, Justin as well. He goes onto the softs. Riley actually quite a way back from Wilson Hall and Victor Redler there. He was actually in front of his teammate before the pit stops, but it shows how powerful that undercut is here, Epic. And he's lucky to not come out in this traffic, but they will get DRS on him. So for Riley McKay, he might fall not only behind Gabriel Brazzi, but also Paulo Afonso. So DRS will be open for these drivers as they now head down the Camel Straight. Wilson Hall going to go for the move on Victor Riddler around the outside. He gets that one done. But luckily for Riley McKay, Gabriel Brazzi is not able to catch up to the back of that Ferrari in time, and he's able to hang on. So Riley McKay now needs to just focus on trying to drive away from these guys and catch the 2 cars in front. But we're going to be in for a very, very interesting Grand Prix. And Yeltsin Korsman, he's woes get worse, adds a bit more salt to the wound, and he picks up a 3-second time penalty for track limits, down in 19th place. It's been another race to forget here for Yeltsin Korsman.
Yeah, definitely. Currently, I was just seeing Fabio Grigoletto, make a move past Paulo Afonso for P12. This Williams definitely been making some moves, but not really gaining any positions. He was P12 before the pit stops. He's P12 now. So definitely things aren't exactly working out. You can see a massive 4-second gap between 10th and 9th. We could see finally Ben Marples is going to be the man to pull the trigger on his teammate as he's going to come into the pits. We're going to see. Let's actually watch where he comes out in this group, because you can already see Wilson Hall's already on the straight. He's actually going to pull Miles out in front. This is going to be something very big, because remember, that time's about 1 minute 42s they're setting at the moment. This is going to be something very big, because this would mean potentially we could... No way. Ben Marples is down. He's down to P8. He's miles behind.
Yeah, that is very, very bad there for Ben Marples. Victor Redler able to get past Wilson Hall. And here comes Ben Marples. He gets past Paulo Afonso. But I feel like, I don't know if these fresher tyres will do too much to those 3-lap-old medium compounds. Because, of course, we've only got now 8 laps to go in this Grand Prix. A very short race on the lap count. So it's going to be interesting to see as there goes Fabio to the inside of Gabriel, of course. One on the mediums, one on the hards, and the Williams able to get in front. The undercut, very, very powerful around this circuit. And for Ben Marples and also Kuba Wozniak, he's in big trouble as well. It could be a race where they have to make their way through from the back. A bit like what Wilson Hall had to do in Australia. We're just going to have to wait and see if it is doable. But for Ben Marples, not only does he have to pass Gabriel Brazzi, but also Riley McKay as well. So and Fabio before he even gets to Wilson Hall. So it's going to be a very, very interesting Grand Prix. Here he comes, and here he comes past Gabriel Brazzi. He's up into 6th place. Kuba Wozniak is in. Where does he come out in relation to everybody else? He might even come out down in 13th place.
We'll see. Let's see as they come around. I know the front two are definitely going to come out in front. Yes, they will. They will come out in front there. So he's down. Dakmai gets another penalty. Down to 3rd. He's going to actually fly down the position. Look at how far he is. He's behind his teammate. He's outside of the top 10 now. He's outside of the top 10. No, he's not. He's fighting with the top 10. Gonna actually look. He is gonna be P9. And if I'm being honest, that's a lot to do in just 7 laps.
It is a big, big task.
Especially in the DRS train as well. That's a lot to do in a DRS train.
It really is. It's a big, big task for him to do, especially with everyone battling as well. That's Fabio all over the roads. He's had to cut the chicane. Oh, he's into his teammate. The Williams drivers collide. Pandemonium for the Grove-based outfit. As now that's Mattia Ria behind his teammate. Cooper Wozniak's able to get past Marcel Biega, but Mattia Ria drops all the way down to 15th. I think he might have picked up a bit of front wing damage as well. He's letting some other cars through. Oh, and for Williams, it was just a bit of a dangerous rejoin there from Fabio, and it's caused his teammate to be unfortunately sent off into the gravel at Malmedy. But still, we've got a long race to go in this one, and Ben Marples is already catching up massively to Riley McKay, and Riley McKay has caught about a second in the last lap to the top 2. So we're going to be in for an interesting finale to this Grand Prix. Still, of course, a long way to go, but these drivers on those fresher mediums still have a lot of pace in them.
Yeah, they do, but remember, the laps are ticking by, and they're actually, to be honest, it feels like they're ticking by very quickly as well. Cooper Wozniak's made his move up to 6th, but even if they get away from this DRS train, there's still another about 3 seconds to the front 2, which is coming down. The difficulty is then getting past the front 2, which we have seen just be something very difficult for everybody to do. At the moment, you know, just getting past anybody on tyres anywhere close to their age or even compound. We can see Victor Vidley is going to be making the move for the lead. He returns to the lead. It's been a while since we've seen Ferrari take a lead of the race. And not only real life F1 or this season. So I believe this is actually the first time we've seen a Ferrari take the lead. Something interesting to see, the red Scarlet car coming across. Patesi gets a 3-second time penalty, only our 5th driver of today, which is sadly quarter of the grid. We don't like to see often. Patesi fighting with, it's a 3-way battle at the moment because Justin Ertz has just gotten by. Nicolas Sora's trying to push his way by on the softs. He has done it. We're also going to see Danny Coe make his way by, but he's going to be making his move in a very different place. He's going through Pouron. He's going to be making his move. And they went side by side off for the entry, and now it's going to be Danny Coe coming out in P10 and the final points paying position here. Red Bull definitely having a better race than they did last week out. But we talk about how much that gap is closing. It is closing a lot because it's now below 2 seconds now. I have no words. Ben Marples has just closed in that gap by half in just 1 lap. And so definitely anything is still up for grabs. I think, I'm going to be honest here, Kuba Wozniak might be having a bit too much of a fight on his hands because Riley McKay is also catching at the same rate as well. And so maybe Kuba Wozniak might just be seeing himself outside of the chance, but he has just set the fastest lap of the race of the 1 minute 43.307. So definitely there's something there. But these front 2 have to pick up pace a little bit. They're definitely struggling.
Yeah, they certainly do. It's now 1.7 seconds as Wilson Hall getting back past Victor Riddler with the DRS, but Ben Marples is gaining at a rate of knots. So we can just have to wait and see Marcel Biega and also Justin getting past Fabio there. Nicolo Soro also joining the party. Fabio losing 3 places there. Nicolo Soro looking to the outside of Justin, not able to get the move done though, as here comes Danny Coe round the outside of the Williams. Fabio losing 4 places in the space of the Kemmel Straight and the Conf. 2 corners, really. He lost those places, and for Fabio, that is really disappointing for him. I think he might be struggling now due to that earlier contact with his teammate. But for Ben Marples, he's now 1.1 seconds behind the top 2. He is getting closer and closer as each corner passes, and I reckon he's going to have DRS next lap, and we are certainly going to be on for a thriller, and we can wait and see if they are able to maybe pounce on this one. We'll just have to wait and see though, as here comes Victor Riddler passing Wilson Hall. We've not got long left in this Grand Prix, and we're going to have at least the top 5 all battling it out for that top spot come the end of the Grand Prix.
Currently, we're riding on board with Ben Marples, and I'm just seeing the rate that he closes in on these two. And, to be honest, the man who is holding back, by the way, is Wilson Hall. He's got over 80% battery. He's actually got the highest outside of, on the entire grid, by the way. He's got a huge amount of ERS sitting around. Even Ben Marples doesn't have the same amount. He has about 30%. So maybe Wilson Hall is playing the long game, and maybe he's been thinking about this for a while. There's a couple of drivers dropping down positions, and that was Gabriel Patesi. He's dropped down a few places. Maybe he has some damage, or he made a mistake. Victor Vidler drops down a place. He drops down to second now. But see, look at how close Ben Marples is. Just 3/10 behind now. It was a second half a lap ago. Now he's very close. Nicolas Soro getting past Marcel Biega for P6. And that is a good move there. Alex Santana also getting past Fabio Guigoletto for P10. As you can see, Justin Ertz gets a 3-second time penalty. That's going to hurt his race result. Definitely at the end. He is going to, by the way, he will drop outside of the top 10, or he's actually going to drop down to P10, I believe, as it stands. But he's got to try and get a bit further ahead of Hugo Fontbon to stop himself from dropping outside of the top 10 here tonight. But definitely everything is up for grabs. But look at how close those two Aston Martins right back together. It looks like Cooper Wozniak made the move from Roddy McKay a few moments ago. But now those two Aston Martins both pushing together, and they're both going to attack the front two.
Yeah, they certainly are, as here comes Cooper Wozniak, maybe on his teammate, going for a move early, so we'll have to wait and see, looking to that inside line, and he's got the move done as he heads into Blanchimont. Riley McKay has dropped off slightly to these two Aston Martins. He's got no battery either, so he's really pushed to try and catch up to Victor Riddler and Wilson Hall. The driver in the best position, battery-wise, is the man who took pole position, Ben Marples. He's in a really good position at the moment. Alex Santana getting past Danny Cohen. Here comes Cooper Wozniak on Victor Riddler. He's gone for a lunge to the inside, late at the source, and it's beautifully done by Cooper Wozniak. He's up into second place. Next man on his list is going to be Wilson Hall to try snatch that race win away from the Alpine. Of course, we've got 4 laps to go in this Grand Prix. DRS will be open as Gabriel Prazzi retires in the pit lane. But look at this. Cooper Wozniak under pressure from Victor Riddler. And Victor Riddler to the outside. Cooper Wozniak back down the inside. Later on the brakes. Is he going to be able to get it done to the inside through Malmedy? And he does. And this allows his teammate Ben Marples to now go to the inside for the Bruxelles hairpin. And Ben Marples up into third place. The two Aston Martins working together beautifully. We could be on for an Aston Martin 1-2, but still 3.5 laps to go here in Belgium. But that was crucial for Ben Marples, because now he's only got his teammate and Wilson Hall in between him and victory of the Belgian Grand Prix.
Definitely, Patrick Dackmeyer has also retired from this race to retirement. So sad to see as well, especially late on today. But, like you said, Wilson Hall, this man's going to have a fight on for the last few laps. He's only got 3 laps to go, but it looks like Cooper Wozniak wants to make the move before the end of lap 19. He wants to be leading out of lap 20, and here comes Cooper Wozniak. He's pushing Wilson Hall all over the way, but remember, Wilson Hall's got almost 90% battery. So for Wilson Hall, he's waiting right up until the end. Here comes Cooper Wozniak. Is he going to send it into the bus stop chicane? No, he's not. As we can see, Wilson Hall sliding all over the place into the bus stop chicane. But that Alpine holding on nicely and very tightly onto his lead as we head on to lap 20. 3 laps to go out of... It's lap 20 out of 22. 3 laps to go. Whoa! Did you see Cooper Wozniak pushing? Actually hitting Wilson Hall through turn 1. That's actually made Cooper Wozniak drop off a bit off of the Alpine. And now we're going to see how is he going to do up through El Rouge and Rallion. That Alpine's looking quick. He's still 4/10. Just 4/10 ahead. That isn't enough unless he uses some battery. He's already been using some battery, so he might be safe when we get to the end of the straight. Is he going to be safe? Is he not? No, he isn't. Cooper Wozniak sends it down the inside. He's going to fight for it. He's going to try and make the exact same move as he did on Victor Vidler, and he is going to make the same move as he did on Victor Vidler. And now we've seen Cooper Wozniak and the Aston Martin lead here in Belgium in PSGL PCF 5. It's another leader. And it's green once again leading here in the country of hills and waffles. And now it is Cooper Wozniak, but the next man who's going to be making a move is Ben Marples. He wants to be making the move. Oh, Wilson Hall, he wants to get a 1-2 for the team, but he mainly wants to be chasing after his teammate to get that win here tonight after the heartbreak of last race.
Yeah, he certainly does. Both Kuba Wozniak and Ben Marple's going to be fighting this one, probably to the death. Of course, they both are teammates, but neither of them are in a championship battle yet, and they both would desperately want this race victory. We're just going to have to wait and see, though. We'll have 2 laps to go once we cross that start-finish line, and that is going to be something really exciting to see. So, Kuba Wozniak will lead us through the bus stop chicane for the third to last time. It's going to be the penultimate time next time around if he still has that lead by then. Alex Santana able to get past Justin there for 8th place in this Grand Prix. But we look back up to the front of the field. The top 5 all within DRS of one another. And Wilson Hall and Ben Marples both really looking strong with their batteries. So we now head up through Rouge and Radion for the penultimate time in this Belgium Grand Prix. It's been a poor run there from Wilson Hall, and this could allow Ben Marples to attack. If Wilson Hall knows what's good for him, he'll attack Kuba Wozniak instead. There he goes to the outside of the Aston Martin. Ben Marples can't look to the inside. Kuba Wozniak drops down to 3rd. The 2 Ferraris looking on. They just can't get close enough to have a go at this battle up in front of them. But we can only wait and see who will come out on top. Will it be either of the Aston Martins, Wilson Hall, or even one of the Ferraris maybe trying to get involved as well? As we head down now into Pouhon, penultimate time around this circuit. Marcel Biega gets past Alex Santana. They're going side by side into the no name, now into Pouhon as well. Marcel Biega just having to sit behind Alex Santana. He's trying to get by the Alpine, but just not able to do so. But we're about to head into Stavelot for the penultimate time, and then head up back up to the start-finish straight, back up the hill here with Wilson Hall. Ben Marple's just behind. Kuba Wozniak in 3rd place. Victor Riddler and Riley McKay round out your top 5. So there is a chance that we get a repeat podium of last time out in Australia, but we can only wait and see. So here we go then into bus stop. That's Ben Marples into the back of Wilson Hall. I think Wilson Hall wants the DRS, but Ben Marples is having none of it. Victor Riddler allows Riley McKay through. He thinks that Riley will have a better chance of attacking that top 3. So now we head on to the final lap of the Belgium Grand Prix around the Spa circuit. 7 kilometres face these drivers left in this Grand Prix. Who's going to come out on top? Wilson Hall and Ben Marples using all the battery they possibly can, but Ben Marples, he will have the DRS. He's going to look to the inside. The Aston Martin will take the lead back from the Alpine. Kuba Wozniak can't get close enough, but there's still a chance for the Aston Martin to maybe, just maybe, have an attack into the bus stop chicane. But here comes Kuba Wozniak to the inside. Can't get it done. They both slide through the Bruxelles hairpin as we now head into No Name for the final time. It is still oh so close between these 3 drivers. I think Ben Marples will have this one in the bag. It's going to be down to who can get 2nd place at Spa. Will it be Wilson Hall or will it be Kuba Wozniak? It could be an Aston Martin 1-2, the first 1-2 of the season, or the Alpine can still finish on 2nd place from 9th on the grid. So here we go then, through Stavelot 1 and now through Stavelot 2. Look at the run Kuba Wozniak has over Wilson Hall, but Wilson Hall has the better battery. He's starting to pull away now. They're going to be oh so close heading into the bus stop chicane. Who will be later on the brakes? Will it be Kuba Wozniak? Will it be Wilson Hall? They're going to be side by side. Kuba Wozniak lunges into the inside line. There's a bit of contact made. Kuba Wozniak slides, but further up, it is his teammate, Ben Marples. After 2nd last time out, he wins here in Belgium. And Wilson Hall manages to make it a 1st and 2nd from the first 2 Grand Prix. And Kuba Wozniak manages to get on the podium. A brilliant end to the Belgium Grand Prix epic, and something that we can maybe see later on in the season is more races like that.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. That was something else we saw at the end. Wilson Hall, he had a great strategy, great race start, great pace overall, but just missed out a bit. He went for the lead too early, and that ultimately lost him out the race victory. But it's this man, Ben Marples, who takes the victory here in round 2 in Belgium. It's a British podium in 1-2, and it's a Polish driver in 3rd. So here is the rundown of the race results here in Belgium in round 2 here in PSGL PC F5. Ben Marples wins the race from pole to victory. He converted it. He made it work after the heartbreak in Australia. Wilson Hall goes from 9th to 2nd. Definitely the overtaking man of today. Kuba Wozniak finishes 3rd with Riley McKay 4th. Victor Vidler 5th. Nicola Soro in 6th. Alex Santana 7th. Marcel Biega 8th. Danny Coe is 9th. With Justin Ertz finishing out the top 10 with a Red Bull 9th and 10th. Hugo Fonbon in 11th, Mattia Ria 12th, Snakes in 13th, Gabriel Stella in 14th, Fabio Grigoletto in 15th, Lucas Beisner in 16th, Joe Korsman in 17th, Paulo Afonso 18th, with the Austrian of Patrick Dackmeyer in 19th, and finally and lastly, the Monaco man of Gabriel Patesi DNFing. I think also Patrick Dackmeyer also retired as well in that race, so please do forgive me for that. Well, what a race it was, definitely, to see. Belgium. We said it would be something different. We said something special be coming up. Definitely something did come up. If you could do the honours for me, my good friend, to ping the drivers on the podium to ultimately get into the positions, to get in for interviews, of course.
Yeah, I
love that.
Cooper Wozniak, Wilson Hull, and then the final one was Ben Marples.
So, with that, let's have a little look at the calendar while we wait for this. So, we're going to Monaco next race, which is going to be something very, very, very exciting. The tight, twisty circuit, one of the smallest countries in the world, of course. It's just the city, that's what Monaco is. But it is the crown jewel of the F1 calendar. Then we have the driver votes. I believe they're in. I might have not updated the calendar. I'll have a quick look for you guys, and I'll tell you. I'll double check. Yes, I have sadly not updated it, but I will tell you. Round 4 will be Austria. Of course, round 5 Canada. Round 6 we go to France. Round 7 is Portugal, with Azerbaijan being round 8, Netherlands round 9, Brazil round 10, and Texas will be round 11, and the finale this season. Definitely something there, something quite interesting to see. I know it is wrong here, but let's head over to the interviews. We'll scroll down a little bit. So the first person we're going to be bringing in is Ben Marples, the man who won tonight's race. So let's bring him in. Hello, Ben Marples. Well done on your victory. How does it feel to win after the bit of heartbreak you had in Australia?
Hello guys, it feels good. Nothing much I can say other than that. Yeah, it was a nice, easy strategy. Started on hards, and then we just extended as much as we could in a DRS train with Cuba, and Wilson as well. And when Wilson boxed early, I was like, that's the wrong move for Wilson, because your tires wear out like 6% a lap. So we knew we had the tire advantage straight away when he boxed. So yeah, we just extended as long as we could. And yeah, it was just playing. There was some DRS games early on in the race, but yeah, overall it was good.
How do you feel? Did you feel a lot of pressure coming from your teammate Kuba Wozniak? Was it, make a move now or lose the race victory? Did it feel like you had a lot of pressure on your shoulders? Or did you just know that you had that little bit of an edge over Kuba Wozniak?
Well, I got told Cuba's battery, and I was like, that was quite surprising when I heard it, because he was on the fresher tires, and I thought it was just gaining like normally, but he was on like 14%, and I was like 55%. So I was like, oh, this is good. So I'm just gonna stay back with higher battery, and yeah, it worked out in the end. I could just overtake Cuba and Wilson easily and just gap them on the last lap because I had the battery.
That's fair. Max, do you have any questions?
Yeah, of course. Congratulations, Ben, on today's victory, and overall, it was a really good race from you. What I want to know is, when Wilson Hall come into the pit lane, were you ever thinking about maybe either following him in a lap later, or were you always just thinking, stick to my strategy, he's on the softs, just carry on like normal?
well, every single time I go into a race, I just get told, just do your own race. Doesn't matter what everyone else around you's doing, just do your own race. So that's what I did. I just had the strategy in mind, had the plan, and nothing got in the way. So yeah, that's what I did.
That's pretty fair. Thank you so much, Ben Marples. Well done on the victory. Hopefully, this
Thanks,
could
guys.
lead to a title charge. That was Ben
Hopefully.
Marples here in an interview with us, which was very nice to have. Now, we do have another man. We have the Polish driver, the man who finished third, Kuba Wozniak. He slightly missed out on the victory here tonight, finishing third. At the moment, we don't have Wilson Hall here in the here for the interviews just yet, but we'll see in the next few minutes. So we're going to bring Kuba Wozniak in. Hello, Kuba. Well done on your podium. How does it feel to be on the podium, and how does it feel to almost get second place?
It's it's all right. I was really hoping for more, to be fair. I felt like, no, I felt like the pace was really strong. We had the overcut, but I think maybe the overcut was a bit too long. So, I am happy with the podium, but I sort of upset at the same time because I was hoping for much more, as I felt like the pace was much stronger.
That's fair. Do you feel like you missed out on the victory? Where do you feel like you might have made a mistake or two to lose out? Because earlier on, both me and Max were both saying that you were definitely looking very strong for the victory. But just sort of what happened towards the end? Because it just seemed like you struggled to get past Wilson Hall, and then your teammate got past you.
Yeah, so obviously we had that overcut. My teammate pit lap 13, I pit lap 14. And I think it was a bit too much. And what I had to do is came out the pits, had to catch back up to the guys, had to use a lot of VRS. And by the time I was with these guys, maybe I charged up around 37 or something like that, but it just wasn't enough. They had way more than me. I had more grip than Wilson, obviously with like 4 laps fresher tires, but he had a lot more battery left. And I tried to do a little dive into the last corner, but I personally don't think enough room was kind of left on the inside. I got squeezed and it just didn't really work out. So,
Max, do you have any questions, my good friend?
Yeah, one from myself, Kuba. We head to Monaco next time out. Are you confident around there? I know it's probably one of the trickiest and worst circuits on the game due to the nature of it, but you confident? Do you think you can get a good result there?
I'll be honest, I can't wait to eat a wall there. I'll be honest. Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely going to be something to put in a headline.
Yeah.
I'm just going to eat a wall.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you so much for joining us. Well done on your podium. It's nice to see you back on the podium once again. I do believe
Appreciate it.
our good friend Wilson Hall is joining us here in the interviews, which is slightly sad, of course. We always love to have as many people as possible to come and join us in the interviews. So we're just going to go back to our camera screen once again. So,
See you later, guys. Thank you.
yeah, thank you. So, what do you think, Max? What do you think of that race? Who do you feel lost out a little bit there? Because I feel like a few drivers fell a little bit flat. Jelta Korsman, of course, fell a little bit flat. Maybe Marcel Biega as well. He looked strong at first, then had a bit of a rough qualifying, and then just struggled from then on. A few drivers not doing exactly, what they looked like they could do. I want to hear maybe your hero of today and maybe your zero of today. Who's who?
I mean, if we're going off hero of today, I will give it to Wilson Hall actually. From 9th on the grid, a really good drive from him. You could also give it to Ben Marples or Kuba Wozniak. They all deserve it, but from 9th and a really well progressed strategy there from Wilson Hall to put him up into second place in the end. So
yeah, I'll
he's
agree,
my hero.
I'll agree with you.
My loser of the day, I feel like I do have to give it to Snakes maybe, or Jelta Korsman, one of the two. Probably Snakes because he was in a bit more of a higher position for a majority of the race. I don't know what happened in that pit stop, so it's a bit unfortunate for him. Yeah, maybe a glitch, or maybe he got a little bit of front wing damage that we didn't know about. So unfortunate there for Snakes. I mean, he can come back stronger next time out in Monaco, but again, it was a bit unfortunate for him. But still plenty of opportunities this season to fight back, and we head to Monaco next week. We're going to see so many drivers hit the wall. It's front wing damage heaven, and just expect the driver that keeps it as disciplined as possible to win out on that one, because that's the only way you can really win around Monaco. It'll be either whoever qualifies on pole or whoever just keeps it the most disciplined.
I definitely do agree with you for the hero of the day. I do think Wilson Hall deserves that from 9th to 2nd. Something that we saw a few people move up sort of 5, 6, 7 positions, but that was because of spins and incidents. But Wilson Hall didn't really gain positions from incidents. He mostly gained his positions off the first 3 laps of the race. My loser of today, Sam, my zero of today, and I'm not trying to be mean here, but it does have to go to Jelza Korsman. He looked so good in qualifying, and then he had a rough lap 1, but we still had hope. You know, a little bit of hope in there. And then, of course, something happened. He seemed to have spun round, and it just went downhill from there. Of course, he DNF'd from today's race. But sadly, this is the point of today's stream that we're going to have to be starting to say goodbye, which of course is very, very sad. We're going to be heading to Monaco next week, and so we've got some exciting stuff happening there. Well, it's been a great race, and sadly, this might be the last time you guys see me here in F5, as I was filling in for last week and this week, so I might not be around next week, or possibly again this season. I want to say thank you so much to Max for putting up with me, and also thank you to you guys. Any last words, Max? Hopefully not any mean ones.
Well, yeah, I've had to put up with you. No, it's been an absolute pleasure to be working with you. Hopefully you can maybe return at least 1 or 2 times in the future. But yeah, thank you all for the support as well. Everybody watching at home, highly appreciate it, and we just love the support here in F5. We try and make these streams as perfect as possible for you guys. Of course, we ran into a few slight issues, but overall there were no big deals. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Make sure to tune in next week. I should have Quakes alongside me next week, so stay tuned for that one. I think it's his debut on F1 as well, so it'll be interesting to see how we get on. Should be alright though. But yeah, Epic, thank you for covering and joining me these past 2 weeks. Been an absolute pleasure. And yeah, everyone at home, stay safe, stay well, and that's it from me.
That's thanks, mate. So, before we go, of course, I have to do this a little bit. I just want to say we're proudly sponsored by GT Omega and Sim Racing Centre. Go and check them out. They're in the description down below with their links. Also follow us on YouTube, Instagram. Come and join our Discord server. Also follow us on Twitter and TikTok. Yes, we're on all 5. So come and join us over on each one if you want to know more action, if you want to see more clips, more action, and get to know everything. And if you want to get racing, or for it to be commentators like me or Max, come and join our Discord server. Sign-ups, I believe, are still open. I don't think it's for drivers, but I do believe it is still for commentators. So we will see. You guys will definitely see. But once again, thank you so much. I will see you soon. Not next week, but soon. Thank you so much, and I will see you again. Goodbye.
on the left-hand side. Hugs the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. Jarno Opmeer now to the last couple of corners now. His finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the GOAT is back. Jarno Opmeer wins the US Grand Prix in a stunning Grand Prix.